Welcome to The Road Reflected with Nicole Wakeland. Automotive from the lighter side. That means cars, but also cookies, coffee, and pie. Up first, what's Nicole behind the wheel of this week?
So we're getting really fancy this week.
Ooh.
Yes, this week it was the Mercedes Benz AMG GLS 63 SUV.
Oh, the AMGs are the zoom zooms.
Yeah, that's Mazda. You just can't say zoom zoom for anyone.
Other cars can zoom.
I feel
They
like you
don't
can't
own
say
verb.
that. Well, no, but they own the zoom zoom thing.
No, they're zoom zoom zoom.
Is it?
This is just zoom zoom.
Okay.
So I think
Either
I'm
way,
okay.
Mazda doesn't technically use it anymore either. But every time you say it, I think about Mazda.
I'm just saying the AMG version of the Mercedes is the hot.
It's not, yes.
HOT,
that works. Okay. So that's the thing. So the GLS, which is their 3-row SUV,
Yes.
there's the GLS 450, which starts at $87,000. So
That's a Mercedes. So you gotta
expensive,
expect to pay a
right?
little
Right.
money.
Luxury car territory, but not like bonkers. Then there's in the middle the GLS 580. That's $112,000.
I like how 112 is the middle.
Right.
That's how you know.
Because the
you're in rarefied air.
AMG GLS 63 starts at, if you don't put a single option,
Yes.
starts at $145,850.
That is a lot of money for a vehicle.
It's a lot of money for a vehicle. But,
Yeah.
I mean, and I've said this before about really expensive cars. If you have the money and you like it, buy it.
Yeah, I
Also,
mean, you
this
enjoy
one,
it.
in the grand scheme, this is a lovely car.
Yeah.
It was lovely. So one of the things you get with this in terms of driving it, you get a 4-liter V8, 603
That's
horsepower.
ridiculous. 603.
627 pound-feet of torque. The
Yeah.
thing moves. And what's kind of funny is this is a great big 3-row SUV. This is the kind of thing you get when you have a family and you want to be able to take everyone and all their stuff along for the ride. So not generally known for being these super speedy, quick, but man, you hit the gas in this and this thing moves.
Goes. Nice.
It goes very fast. But because this is a luxury vehicle, because this is a Mercedes, it goes with, it's aggressive without letting you know it.
A plume.
What?
A plume. A plum.
No, I know the word you're going for. How long am I going to let you start? A plum?
Style.
Style?
Goes with style.
It goes with style. It's reserved. It's still refined. It's
Yes.
not, you hear that it's the engine, but it's not in your face.
No.
Nothing is overly aggressive and angry and grr-arg with
And the
this car.
G-forces are still there because physics.
You
but-
still feel, but in terms of the overall, like it's still very quiet. The engine is still very muted. So you get all that power and all that responsiveness, but it doesn't forget that at its heart, it's still a luxury vehicle. So it needs to feel like one. And it does in every way. The seats are beautiful and comfortable. This has captain's chairs in the second row. So they're very, very comfortable. It makes it easy if you're getting back to the third row. My daughter sat back there in the second row and she thought it was amazing. She's like, ooh,
Yes.
these are nice. Like she liked it.
Yeah,
she
is.
thought it was really nice. So, it's got Napa leather and there's like a microfiber suede trims everywhere.
There's pretty sweet.
Tons of room. It also has really cool ambient lighting. It's
Mercedes is getting really good at the ambient lighting.
Mercedes it's good, but slightly over the top at the same time.
That's what makes it cool.
But so it goes along the door panels across the dashboard in like one thing. So at night it has that very cockpit vibe because it goes around you.
Right.
But there's these sort of like grab handles on the center console, and it even goes around those. So you open
everything's etched in this light.
Everything is lit up. Like the whole thing is all lit up. Appropriately, I was going to say like a Christmas tree. And
the whole car. I mean, of course,
Christmas
it's got
season,
puddle lights and all that stuff, but it just
Right.
glows.
And the puddle lights have the Mercedes, the TriStar
Yes.
badge,
Yeah.
which I also think is neat. I
cool.
think puddle lights that are just more than just like a light.
Cool
Like
puddle
when
lights are cool.
because they have the Mercedes does that, and then Mustang, it has a little Mustang
pony,
yeah. So I think it's cool when they have
yeah.
they're more than just like a light.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
if
it's
you're gonna
cool.
have a
It's
puddle
cool to
light,
have a
make it
puddle light with a
cool,
shape.
right? Make it cool. So it's beautiful. It's comfortable. But it is $150,000. Here's the biggest thing with that: not that it's $150,000. But that it's a $150,000 SUV with Napa leather and micro suede and beautiful materials and all these things. And this is a 3-row SUV, so it is in all likelihood going to have youngsters in it.
Yeah.
And you know what kids do to a car,
They say microfiber cleans well.
but that's not on the seats. Well, and I don't believe that it cleans well at all.
Not children.
But the
not melted crayon.
But it's just like I can't imagine in my head. I can't imagine what kids will do to this car. Like, can you imagine you put a couple of car seats back, you pick up the car seat?
But I guess if you got this kind of money, you're just kind of like, that's how it's going to work.
Even if I was contemplating purchasing a $150,000 car, I wouldn't buy it.
Maybe you have a second
kids.
one just for the kids.
What are you putting in
so
this
you have one for just to keep it spotless, so you can cruise around town and be all baller.
For no reason, in a 3-row SUV
so you go to dinner
empty.
with your friends. And you can fill everybody up, and it's fine. And then when the family gets in the other one, it's the one that melted crayons and everything else, and it's okay.
I don't know.
And everybody's like, "How do you see?" The trick to that, you have to get both that are exactly the same, so that people will think you're keeping your when they visit you.
So you're so bougie. You're spending $300,000.
No one's
going to
know you have two.
Set?
No one's going to think you're that crazy. That's how you do it.
I don't know. I guess that would work. I guess,
or you cover everything in plastic.
Like the couch in your grandma's house,
like grandma's
30 years
house
ago?
From the 50s with a plastic on it, and she never takes it off. So you're like, what's the point?
Because it's always
you never actually get to enjoy
plastic.
it. It's always on plastic.
No, I feel like if you have a car like any car, you have to just go with it. You have to just figure it is what it is. But
I think it's just if you have that kind of money.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So, and the thing was too. So it gets cool details. So the outside, one of my favorite things, the wheels on this. 23-inch AMG forged monoblock style wheels in matte black.
Whoa.
They were $6,000 according to the options when I looked them up online.
$6,000. I do remember you were driving. You're like, I really don't want to curb one.
Well, that's the thing, because imagine, like, they're almost entirely solid. Like, there's very little.
Yeah, they look awesome. They are very sexy,
and they're matte black. And all I can think is, like, if I curb these wheels,
I know
$6,000, right? But also, I feel like it's going to look horrible.
It's going
like,
to show.
You curb any wheel and it scratches.
Because there's these silver scratches in the matte.
Is it going to make this horrible?
Yeah,
right? Yeah. I have never parked in the car. It's like, oh, the curb's about 6 feet in. We're good. That's close enough. That's as close as I'm getting to that curb.
Looks awesome.
It looked awesome, but I was again, I guess if you're spending $6,000 on these, you don't care. And you're just like, okay, just go ahead and replace it. But still made me incredibly nervous.
Speaking of splurging, can we talk about the cup holders for a minute?
Yes. Okay. I didn't even realize it's still halfway through the week.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Right? So I lean forward to look at something and I see that there's a button. It's kind of hidden. So bad thing. It's kind of hidden. Like it's tucked far enough back. I'm like, it's a little picture of a cup. I'm like, wait a minute. And I push the little picture of the cup and I can see that it has like an on-off button and they're cooled cup holders.
Yeah.
Which I have seen before. But again, lighting. So there's a little strip of lighting that goes up the piece. It's like between that divides the two cup holders. It turns blue when it's cold. But then it turns red.
It's warming and cooling.
So warm and cool your drink.
So you got your morning coffee, it's warm. You got your soda on a summer day, it's cold.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Okay,
and it glows the appropriate color.
I want to be able to have heated and cooled cup holders in my normal person price car.
I want it on my desk.
I want to pay. I want to pay for it as an option, like in my Camry or something.
I feel like there should be aftermarket ones you just put in your car. Remember back before manufacturers put cup holders in cars, and we all went to Walmart and bought cup holders.
The crappy little cup holder.
This is like now this is the heated one.
I don't know. I feel like there's probably is something that would let you aftermarket wise do it.
For this season.
I want it to come. I want it to be part of my car. I want a heated and cooled cup holder in every car I ever own. Okay, everyone, if you like what you're hearing, then go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe either on YouTube or your favorite podcatcher.
And leave us positive reviews on iTunes.
That's like your job to say that. I like literally
But not negative reviews, just positive ones.
So the other thing I want to talk about is not a specific car, but technically many, many cars.
I didn't get to see this. I only heard about it vicariously through you.
You did, because this one did not happen here. So the World Car Awards are an award that you have to be, there's literally jurors from around the world. And each year they vet through and pick their jurors. And I've been on it for, I think, about 2 years now. So I'm a juror for the World Car Awards. And one of the big things that they do is we do a test drive in Pasadena, California, and it backs right up against the LA Auto Show. So you come out for the LA Auto Show.
Which is convenient. You get a double trip.
Right. So you come out a couple days early and you get to drive these cars. Now there's actually... It's from Sunday to Thursday or Sunday to Wednesday that technically you can drive. Not everybody is there the whole time, and you sign up for different slots. And it's not every car that's eligible, but it's a chunk of cars. Because the thing is World Car, and there's all these parameters for which cars qualify and where they have to be sold and when they went on sale. Cars don't go on sale in the same place at the same time for even the same car.
No.
So you don't necessarily, and sometimes they don't even have the same name. Sometimes the name's slightly different. in one region of the world than another. So sometimes there's cars that like could be brand new here, but they're not out somewhere else yet. It might not qualify this year, or vice versa. It's brand new in the UK, but we haven't gotten it. Maybe so. There's rules about getting these to qualify. So there were cars there that I hadn't driven. There were some that I have driven that I really liked. I've talked about before the Kia EV9, which is their great big 3-row electric SUV. A big fan of the EV9. There's also the EX30, which is a Volvo, which is still an electric, but squish it down. It's just a 2-row SUV. That was really cool. They also have the new Hyundai Santa Fe. There's new Hyundai Santa Fe.
Yeah.
The Fisker Ocean, which is an electric vehicle. I drove
don't see
for the
Fiskers
first
very
time.
often.
They're just kind of deliveries are just kind of starting because remember Fisker's new. There was the old Fisker.
Yep.
Now there's the new Fisker, still run by Henrik, but the old one like went bankrupt. The
It's
new
a
one,
whole new. It's a whole.
yeah,
new
and it's
Fisker.
like there's called like Fisker. I'm gonna mess it up, like Fisker Automotive, and the new one's like Fisker Inc. The name's slightly different, so that there's two. So just so that you're not confused, because clearly that's not confusing at all to keep the same name. But the Fisker Ocean is their SUV. It's actually really cool. So one of my favorite things about the Ocean, they call it a taco tray. And it literally is like a little.
Like they serve tacos?
It's a little, well, they call it a taco tray because you could put your tacos on it. I don't know why it wasn't like a cookie tray or a hamburger tray or
I want a taco
donut
tray. Is it
This
got the little curves in it so
comes
to
out-
hold your
No,
tacos?
it just is. It's a tiny little thing that.
Wait,
and
how
it's
is it a
like
taco tray if it's not designed to hold tacos?
Look, you can talk to Henrik. Take it up with Henrik Fisker.
I feel like if it's a taco tray, it needs to have those little, like, you know.
Maybe nice. Maybe an accessory. You talk about an aftermarket
Yes,
accessory
I mean,
for your cup
you know,
holders.
exactly.
You want an aftermarket accessory.
Like-
You know, they could use it on the Ford F-150 too.
Right.
You know, they have the table, the work table. I would like this to hold my tacos. There's a little taco tray.
You know, like on the hot dogs carts in New York City, have those little V's that you stick the hot dogs in.
I
That's what you
think
need
they
for tacos.
do sell those that you can have them at home, like to have tacos on your
like
table.
for taco holders. Yes, this should be a thing. If it's a taco tray.
It should deploy. But honestly, I don't think anybody should be eating it. Eating a taco in a car is a risky proposition.
It is.
Because lettuce that's shredded and tomatoes
Which
that are
makes it
shredded
all
and
the more
onions.
impressive that they have a taco
Yeah,
tray.
I think it's really intended to be the whatever food you choose to put on that tray, but they call it a taco tray.
Okay.
So, but they have that there. These are all great cars that we know, and
Yeah.
they're all cars that are available in the U.S. The EV9, I think deliveries are just, I don't know if the EV9's delivered yet. Fisker started deliveries. EX30 is about to start, and you can order it online. But there's also cars here that we don't have in the U.S.
Right.
Now, as long as I've driven the car, I have to have driven it to give a car vote. I can't say, yeah, this car looks great based on a press release
Right.
that has all of
Right.
you know, the official, like, this is amazing. Everybody says their car is amazing, even if they're not.
Right.
But I got to drive some that weren't. The one that I drove, okay, this is really funny because we don't have these in the U.S. Suzuki.
Wait, I haven't heard of a Suzuki car since the Suzuki Samurai.
Right? So Suzuki, I believe, left the U.S. market in 2012.
Yeah.
If that my Googling was correct. But it hasn't left everywhere else. You can still get Suzukis elsewhere.
yeah, interesting.
So what they had there, because this is eligible for World Car, is the Suzuki Franx.
Like, how do you spell that?
F-R-O-N-X.
Francs.
Francs, which it is not sold here, but I thought to myself, I'm like, I think that's one of those cars that if it was going to
might
be here,
rebrand it in
we
the
might
US.
not call it the Francs in the US because Francs sounds weird, right?
It's adjacent to other words too that I'm not sure about.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. It's an odd name.
Yeah.
But so what it is this cute little crossover.
Yeah.
And I said, like, this actually looks cute. Other than you look at from the outside, you're looking, you're thinking, what's that logo? What's that badge? Because it has a Suzuki on it. You're like, I got to be looking at that wrong. Other than that, it looks like it could be any other crossover on the streets in the U.S. However, it's not sold here, and I think it's sold primarily Mexico and India. I've been told are big markets for this vehicle. They drive very different cars there. It has a 1.3 liter 3-cylinder engine.
Oh, it's a little guy.
It's little. It has 103 horsepower and
it's a
101
little
pound-feet of
go-kart.
torque. Okay, let me tell you, you want to drive it like side roads? Fine. Driving in like just stop and go traffic 30 miles an hour?
Does it feel
fine.
like a piston's going to shoot through the hood
You
when you're on
get
the highway?
onto the highway with great big honking American cars, things like that Mercedes with 600 horsepower, and you think, Oh my gosh, this is so not for
really
the American.
designed for U.S. highway travel.
It was so.
Or the German Autobahn for that matter.
Yeah. And I guess, I want to knock it, which I am, but I'm knocking it for here because this is not made for
there's other
here.
places in the world that's be great.
Right?
It's affordable.
If you were to put an F-150 like on a typical road into Ireland, people would be like, are you mad?
There's places in the world you can't drive oversized
right?
cars.
But you put this little tiny car on the roads in the U.S., it seems crazy. It makes sense in India. And I had this wonderful conversation with one of our jurors from Jordan, which is the neat thing. They're not all Americans. Like
That's
there's
a cool
people
gig
from
you got
Saudi,
there.
there's people from Jordan, there's people from all over the world. So you get these really cool impressions of what they think of our cars here and what we think of cars from other regions. So it's a fantastic group of people. It's really neat to talk to journalists from around the world, which is one of the reasons I love being on this jury.
Yeah, it's cool.
But he was talking about it and talking about how, it's a very different cars there and that this is not.
Is it popular in the market?
He said it was almost aspirational. Like, this is the kind of thing you would be like, I've got a car. So I don't have a bicycle. I don't have a motorcycle. I've got an honest to goodness car and this is a car. So, and they're really cheap, like super cheap.
Right.
In dollars over there. Of course, it wouldn't be the same dollar. It would be more dollars here. But
So this is really designed for parts of the world where most people drive scooters.
Or just don't drive the same cars. Like they're driving smaller cars, less powerful cars, different
the
market.
and the scooters.
So it was entirely different to drive this. And I was really excited to drive it because I think it is the first time I've ever driven a car that was not a car in any way, shape, or form designed for the U.S. market.
So when do we get to find out who the lucky winners are?
So if we have all the cars that are eligible right now, which is everyone's deciding, they do a first finalist. They whittle it down in February to the finalist, and then we vote again. And by March,
you guys publish who the finalists are, so we get excited.
We do. They publish everything out. You'll publish it and you'll see it. Right. So in March, the winner is announced at the New York Auto Show. They do a big ceremony. Not on the auto show for like one of the mornings at the beginning of one of the days of the New York Auto Show. And they have the vehicles there and again, a bunch of people from all over the country. There's jurors from all over the world that actually come in because the New York Auto Show attracts journalists from all over the world in its own right. So last year, big winners of it, like the Lucid won, which you've never seen, but I've driven.
I have not, but I've heard about it.
Hyundai won, Kia won, and then the car that you will never see because it will never be in my. I always want to say this wrong. Citroen.
Isn't it Citroen?
Citroen. Everybody says Citroen. I always say Citroen when Citroen.
I just know that from Roger Moore, James Bond.
Well, then that's how the English say it.
For Your Eyes Only. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It was just like.
Because they say, we all say things differently in different, like literally we'll pronounce the same car name differently in different regions.
Are the Citroens still the same sort of like, really kind of like we talk about the Suzuki, like really?
They're different. There's a lot of them in Europe, so I think they're a little bit different. Yeah. But the English say everything different than we do. Like aluminum is aluminium.
Yes, it could be. Yeah, I could be pronouncing it wrong.
Right? And somebody said boot, and they were literally talking about the trunk. And I was like, oh my God, so she actually said boot. Ha ha.
Yes.
Like I'm all amazed. I'm like,
what do they call the
English.
Front trunk? Here we call it a frunk.
I don't know.
But in the UK, do they have it? Is it a different kind of boot?
Because that's because they call it the
shoe?
bonnet. No, they call it the bonnet. Is the front
is it still the bonnet?
So what? No, the bonnet is your
hood.
the front, right? So what? I don't know. I'm going to have to ask. I know. I'm going to go reach out. What do you guys call that? I know exactly who I'm going to ask.
We need to know.
I feel like there has to be. I guess it could because frunk only makes sense if you have a trunk,
right?
I don't know how that would work to find the English equivalent of a frunk. Hey, wait, did we just drive by a bakery? Okay, so back-to-back holidays happen in the U.S., kind of, sort of, because we had Thanksgiving last week, and then 1 month later we have Christmas.
Our kitchen literally becomes a bakery.
It does. It is.
During the holidays.
I love it.
Yes.
Whenever I do stuff on social media.
My children and I love it too because we get to eat all the cookies that Nicole makes.
So you see that I generally have pictures of cookies on interiors of my cars all the time. There's always a cookie somewhere because I love cookies. And the proof of it is, come to my house at Christmas and I must make 15, 20 different kinds of cookies over the course of the holidays. I bake like dozens and dozens and dozens of cookies every weekend. They're stacked in giant plastic containers, technically not Tupperware. They're like fake Tupperware from the grocery store. Tupperware containers. And we have cookies all through the holidays. So you can nibble cookies all the time. On Christmas, I bring you Christmas Eve. You have them on Christmas morning because that's one of those mornings like Easter, you're allowed to eat junk.
Yes, you can eat as much as you want on Christmas
Right?
morning. That's a rule.
They're what we leave out for Santa.
Yes,
Santa gets my Christmas cookies. And we have them on Christmas Day. I even give them to people like my drivers.
I used to take them into my office back before COVID.
Back before the COVID thing and the office disappeared. But I give them to like the drivers who drop off my cars. I leave a plate for them. We swap with my neighbor. My neighbor makes
cookie swaps are a thing.
Pizzelles. Some people pay pizzelles. Some people pay pizzelles.
They're good.
Like Italian, I think, Anna's cookies. Anyway, she makes those. So we make cookies. So I started the cookie making. I'm so excited. And it doesn't wait until like the weekend after Thanksgiving. I'm sorely tempted sometimes to start making cookies on the night of.
Yeah. So anytime between Halloween and Thanksgiving, the cookies can start.
Right. So, but absolutely the Friday after Thanksgiving, we Christmasify the house.
That's when the first batch.
And that's when the first cookies
A batch happens that weekend.
Yes. For a very long time, there was arguments among our little girls about which cookies were first. They had to pick their favorite cookie. And one year I'd make one's favorite cookie first. And first, literally, we're talking a matter of hours, but whoever was first.
Oh, yeah. And you got to understand, when Nicole makes cookies for a weekend, it's not like she makes 1 dozen or 2 dozen cookies. We are talking dozens, like dozens, like 5 dozen in a weekend is not unheard of. Like, how many did you make this
Well, no,
past
more
weekend?
than 5 dozen. 5 dozen is like a batch for some of those. That's one.
See what I'm saying?
And I'll make
Like,
4 different kinds of
What
cookies.
did you make? Yeah, so this past weekend, how many dozens of cookies did you make?
I made 3 different kinds of cookies the one day.
Yeah.
And there were probably like 3 to 4 dozen of each one.
Right. So 4 dozen. So 12 dozen.
Yeah.
A dozen
But
cookies.
to be fair, they were like half gone in the blink of an eye.
Oh, we ate them.
Right? Like you say that like it's
when you think about that, it's kind of dangerous because we just had 12 dozen cookies.
it's just cookies in my house nonstop from
Now,
the day after
you
Thanksgiving.
do have some
until,
really nice cookie containers, like Tupperware style stuff.
Yes, they're fancy containers.
Seals all the cookies. So
Yes.
we don't actually eat all 12 dozen cookies in one week.
No, because they live in their little happy Tupperware containers in a giant tower
do.
in my office.
But you eat
You
more
have to
than you'd
come in.
expect.
You do eat more than you expect.
Yeah, they're so good.
So, and they're not just like chocolate chip. I make fancy cookies. So,
Right.
What's your favorite Christmas cookie? It doesn't have to be Woman of Mine. What's the Christmas cookie that you have to have, or it's not even Christmas?
Well, the one, and I wouldn't even say this is like a fancy cookie or one of like the best flavor cookies, but the cookie that when I eat it, it like tastes like Christmas to me, even though it's not flavored with any Christmas flavors. Like it's not flavored like holly or whatever.
Holly's poisonous.
Yes, holly's. That's why it's not flavored with holly.
Isn't it
or
poisonous?
or eggnog flavored or whatever. This cookie though, I think they call them press cookies. It's the ones with the guns.
Spritz cookies, some people call them.
So it's a very specific one though. It's got to be the tree shaped Spritz cookie.
Yes.
With a little, when you look at the template that squirts the cookie out. The dye, it's like little lines that make the tree. And the tree comes out a certain way. And it's got to be green frosting, the green coloring in the Spritz. And then you have to put the little green hard sugar crystal sprinkles on there.
I do red sprinkles.
Red's okay, but green
Oh,
is the
I'm
correct.
just learning this. You
Green
want
is the
green
correct
sprinkles?
one. Yes.
I would argue that the correct one is whatever one I make
You want to
for
do,
you.
yes, whatever. They all taste the same.
If you want them, you better to know.
But yes, but those are those and Springlers, as you know, are my favorite.
Springlers, which are a German cookie, which you're the only one who likes.
That's a problem. So the Springlers are my absolute favorite German cookie. My mother used to make them all the time. And these are cookies that they're from Bavarian, Germany. They are they're tricky to make. There's usually a rolling pin.
You roll them out.
that
The rolling pin
presses
has
them.
cutouts on it,
Yes.
and you have the cutouts so then they have to dry so the picture stays. And then you cook them, and they're kind of a hard.
And there's anise seeds in the back.
Yeah, they're kind of a hard, crunchy.
They're very
cookie.
crunchy, and you're supposed to let them go really long, so they're super crunchy. Like this.
And you love them, but like
I
everybody
do.
else is
They're
like
an acquired
because it tastes
taste.
like licorice. They have a licoricey flavor, and not everybody
I
likes
wouldn't
that.
describe it as licorice, but I know
See, it
everybody
kinda
does.
tastes like licoricey.
But it's a very crunchy cookie. Like the scaler and crunchier it is, the better.
Better.
But yeah, I'm like the only person that likes them.
Yeah.
And my brother.
I do make them on occasion for you, but it depends because it's like you're the
So
only
every
one
once
who
in a
eats
while
them.
you'll make them, which is really kind because I'm like the only person who eats them.
You are the only person who
And they're a
eats
lot
them.
of work, I reckon.
But they're really good though.
Yeah.
They're not as much work. So the hardest one, I make these chocolate sable things for my one daughter that require you
oldest
to
daughter.
grate chocolate on a rasp grater, which makes the chocolate taste amazing when it cooks, but also the number of times that I almost grate my fingers.
Oh, that looks like a brutal cookie to me.
And it takes
just takes you
forever. I mean, like I
They
make
are
them every
really
year, but
chocolatey,
they're
rich, delicious cookies.
So we have started the cookieification, the Christmasification of our house. So now last week it was all about pie, the pumpkin pie, which was delicious. And this week, and for the remaining, what do we have now? 4 more weeks? 3 more weeks? until Christmas, it's going to be all cookies all the time.
Now let me ask you this. You started putting the cookies in your videos this year.
Yeah.
They haven't done it through the holiday season yet.
Yeah.
It's normally cookies made by third-party people, bakeries. Yes. Are you going to start slipping your Christmas cookies in there?
Maybe I'll put a Christmas cookies in for Christmas.
So people can see your actual cookies? That'd be kind of cool.
Maybe I'll sneak some Christmas cookies in.
You got to sneak in, and maybe they're smaller, so you could do like a little 2 or 3 on a napkin.
Pile of Christmas cookies?
Yeah, I think you should
I could do that. Maybe we'll have Christmas cookies.
I think you should
And
do
then
that.
people will watch the video late and be like, why does she have
And they'll be
Christmas
asking,
cookies?
like, where did she get that particular cookie? And you'll be like,
because people
well, I made
recognize
that.
the crumble cookies.
Yes.
And they recognize the Starbucks cookies. You were at Starbucks. Yes, I was.
Yeah, those are classic. When you do yours, though, people are going to be like, where is that from?
Yeah, mine will definitely be fancier than the crumble cookies.
Thanks for listening to The Road Reflected. To follow more of Nicole Wakeland's adventures, head on over to NicoleWakeland.com. There you'll find links to her social media from TikTok to Twitter, as well as her work across a wide range of media outlets. Until next time, keep it shiny side up.